All right. There's not really a whole bunch to talk about. I wouldn't take too much out of the day. This week is probably going to be a light volume week in the equity market. Doesn't mean we're not going to have much action um, in the options market because the options market's always active these days. But I wouldn't get carried away trying to make too much sense of the day to day moves this week. I think you're going to get a lot of randomness. And if something gets overdone up or down, I think probably there's a trade the other way in all due honesty. But I'll tell you what I'm looking at. And this is what we've been talking about. I'm trying to not get tied up and focused on the overall indices too much. I think right now we need to see, in my opinion, we need to see the quote unquote quality start to run out of gas. I think that's the crowded trade out there right now. And the longer players profit off that trade, I think the larger the issue that will come out of it. And it may not be just for that group. Maybe it ends up weighing on the overall market. I'm sure if the selling is aggressive enough, it will be. All right. But all those names, we've been talking about over the last, I don't know how many weeks now, right? Falls into that quality category. Basically these bulletproof companies that have been through the ringer, mega cap tech, Fang, Chipotle, all these guys. I'm not saying they need to get hit, but they need to run out of gas, in my opinion. And I thought we were seeing the start of it in the early stages of it last week. Today, it obviously didn't look like that because some of these names were still strong. But what I think what we're seeing is, because that quality trade is so crowded, you could see what they've started to move some money into. And that's the total opposite of quality. Crap, right? And we've seen some of the crap out there starting to see some interest from SPAC names that their charts, I mean, they don't even look like real stocks. That's how awful these charts look on some of these SPACs. Some of the more speculative names out there, and that's it. I don't even think there's any stock picking or stock selection that's being done out there. I think right now it's just whatever's speculative and has been beaten down to a pulp. They were buying, okay? And what I think we do see, and what we should see, is now that the initial stages of some of that rotation have already been put into play, they're going to start picking names. It's going to be more selective than just every EV play, every SPAC play that squeezes. And that's usually how it is. Almost all of them squeeze off the bottom, right? That's why a lot of times after the first batch, you look for the laggards, right? Who's next? That sort of thing. And then I think once that runs its course, hopefully, again, knock on wood, we go back into where there's some stock picking out of that universe. Okay, instead of just everything moving up and down together. Because what happens is when a big group like that is in a bear market, that's what happens. They squeeze together and then they make new lows together. For that trend to change, you're going to start possibly seeing a leadership group come out of it. All right. And the reason I think it's possible is because, again, this quality, quote unquote, released, right? And again, I don't have a crystal ball. Obviously, it can go on for longer. But from my experience, when it does go on longer than where we're at right now, that's when you usually should get cautious on the overall market. Because again, you get that sloppy buying. Everybody thinks you just buy these big mega cap quality names because they'll never go out of favor, right? And you see, if you talk about these names to anybody, you'll get that rhetoric from people, right? You'll get that rebuttal from other traders, oh, these names aren't going down. They buy every dip in these names. These names are, people giving you excuses why these names will continue to outperform. How quickly we forget 2-3 months ago where, they didn't want anything to do with these names. That was the catalyst for these names doing what they're doing right now, right? So regardless, the bottom line, you got to be careful in those names, in my opinion. Again, not because they can crash, just because you might get caught in some chop. And I think we put our stock pickers hats on and try to look under the hood at, some newer names we never heard of, that sweepers may be getting aggressive in. Okay. And that's me saying, assuming that sweepers do get aggressive, right? We could run into a period of time where there's a lack of call buying. And that's going to tell us a lot about the overall market. Probably nothing going on. Okay. But, we've seen some signs of it already. And there's been some nice trades in, a lot of these squeeze names. All right. And, there's numerous factors why you don't want to get too hung up on the market here, regardless, right? You got killer moves on the indices. They've all run into niners, right? So they're starting to breathe here. They're doing what they're supposed to do. September, we'll look at that quickly too. I think McElliott pretty much summed it up for us. What McElliott's talking about through the month of September, I think will probably be front run, and we may see some of that volatility, some of that chop, getting prepared for some of the stuff a lot of people are talking about in the month of September. And that could be a bullish thing, right? Because when those hedges need to come off, when that unwind needs to happen, could be a catalyst for some nice upside. All right. But I think the thing that we all wanted, and even like Tom Lee was calling for, is really hard to see now, that everything rally, because the only way we could have got something like that, I think, is if everything kind of went into a breather together. Now for an everything rally, you're going to need Google to continue higher, and some of these mega cap and quality names continue higher. Just like some of the names that are squeezing, it's not likely to happen. So we'll see. Some of these mega cap quality names have started to chill, but some of these, they're still monsters. How's CMG doing? Little breathers. Path, earnings, right? 57. That's not killed. Probably buy that tomorrow. How about that? They'll probably buy it up tomorrow. Right into the lows again, and they did that. What did they do that with? Another name of hers. I think it was Teladoc. The others, and we spoke about this on the Sunday webinar, right? The other names that we've been focusing on, we at this point we want to look for dips in them. We just don't want to chase gains. Because even if they're rotating into these names, doesn't mean they'll never go down again, right? It just means they'll buy dips. So, that's kind of the problem, right? Once you play a few of these names and then they start to rally nice, they have a tendency to get away from you, and you got to be patient and wait for pullbacks like this. NVTA, yeah, that's another name like that. I like that name. But it's already a nice move here, NVTA. So if you're not in it already, you're chasing. BBIG. There was action a while back, but I haven't seen anything since. Oh, wait. Oh, BBIG. I thought you were talking about that tech play that has a similar symbol. No, this thing, yeah, there was tons of action in this. All these type of names, George. All these names are crazy action. Crazy action. So, but same thing here. Like a lot of these names have gone already. I caught a nice one today. I don't know if you guys, I know Jason caught it. Jason's out there. Anybody caught the this one? SOAC. Yeah. I think Jason too caught it. This had some real nice action this morning. And, a laggard and really had a nice move into the afternoon. But these things have been littered. Clove, anybody catch that today? I mean, this was nuts, this move. Look at this Clove. They bought it all day long, Clove, all day long. All right, but see now these things, they've hatched. You know what I mean? They've hatched. So now, we don't want to get caught chasing some of these crap names. We want to start looking for, there was one name, I got to look over the flow. There was one name that looked a little bit in. Oh, this one. Remember this one? CRSR, right? That's it. Remember this? You guys remember this, right? Yeah, had that deep in the money sweep. And then it actually had a big, oh, here it is right here. Look, right? Remember this? It had that big monster day and then came back. So there was some action there today. And you can see it has been breathing for a little bit here. So that's good. Name to keep an eye on. CRSR. VIH, yeah. That moved today, right? Again. I mean, yeah, this is a nice move. But, if you're not in it already, I wouldn't be chasing these things $2-3 higher. That's for sure. That's the problem, That's the problem. You kind of want to get in early on. And this way, if you pull the plug, they run out of juice, you're not going to get mutilated. Well, I guess if you're playing options, it don't matter. Yeah, they've been running though. Exactly, Presley. They've been moving. They've been moving. You know what I mean? They've been moving. And I'm not saying they don't have any upside left. They could continue higher, but they're, as far as an entry is concerned, it's not as juicy anymore. We want to find new spots now. And that's the thing that'll keep us out of trouble too. If they start finding new names, if they don't, and they just continue to hit CLOV and all these squeeze names, when they're done, these things are going to fall on their face. And if you're holding the bag, you're going to get destroyed. You want to see them find, right? Have that risk appetite and continuously find new names and setups. Because a lot of times when you see sweepers coming in up here, A lot of them are shorts getting squeezed. That's what it is. You know, what's interesting too is that whole rotation, value, growth, reopening, stay at home is starting to break up. You know, it's becoming sloppy and it's starting to break up. And that could be a good thing. You know, because like you'll see throughout the day, the cyclicals and the reopening names, they used to move together, they used to catch flow together. Now, you know, they pick and choose some spots. Like you look today, some of the quote unquote cyclicals were down, some were up. Right? Some of the commodity plays have been catching flow, some haven't. So you know, that could be a good thing because we were getting tired of that aggressive rotation. What about this? What a beauty this was, CCJ. What a beauty. Okay, they never happen this easy for me when I'm in them. You know what I mean? Look at this, Matt. Up every day off the sweeps, every single day. Yeah, uranium's hot. Uranium's hot. Look at this. We bought a basket of uranium. We were sitting pretty right now. Yeah, this thing didn't really give you another entry. It gave you more than enough time to buy it. This thing's been dead for a while, you know, but once it started getting going here, that's it. You know, so this is kind of right. This is kind of the problem with these names. They're gone, you know. Oh, that thing is a monster. Monster. Yeah, this thing's gone, UPSD. All right? You gotta, I mean, I got deja vu. We talk about this name at least once a month on the webinar, right? This, you gotta hope for one of these now again. If you're interested. Yeah, it's tied to EV. You know, I realized I started moving with the EVs, Cal, you know, and I guess that's why. Like every time the EVs got hot, uranium got hot, it seemed. And I could never put two and two together. After earnings, right? Yep. Look at this. Earnings, earnings, and earnings. You're right. Right after earnings. Coop. Yep. But you guys already gave me a trade idea. I hope it catches sweeps because I'm not going to buy it without sweeps. But I would like to buy this path for a trade at least tomorrow. Maybe I'll even hold on to some if I catch it nice. Were there earnings? Oh, wait a second. They didn't have earnings? They had earnings, Path, I thought. Oh, they did. This is wrong then. Yeah, they're down. That's what I'm saying. Tree, I think we got a decent spot to buy it tomorrow. 57.92. I see it. You know, right into the lows here. I think that's a nice spot. You know, for a short-term trade, or you know, if you like the name. No, I can't do without sweepers. If they sweep it, you know, that's what I'm saying. But for those of you who been eyeing the name, yeah, this is software, right? Like I remember, I mean, a lot of you guys like this name, so I think this is what you wanted, right? I mean, what you want? If MDB happened here, you'd be cursing it out, right? This is what you want. You know what I mean? This is exactly what you want. So don't let, you know, I'm not saying, listen, if they cook the books, ignore it. But if it's just a miss, 1/4 miss for a growth name, that's nothing. Those are entries. A lot of that's what I mean, Dan. A lot of people mention this name to me, this path. Big time growth stock amongst the growth players. So for those of you growth players who have been eyeing this name and you didn't want to buy it before earnings, it worked out the way you wanted it. This is not bad. This is good. Bad is this, right? Bad is this. When you like a name and you want to eye it off earnings and it's up double. That's bad. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on path tomorrow. But those are the type of names I'm looking at. Anybody else have any interesting names out there they're eyeing, hoping for sweeper activity or looking for an entry? Team, this thing got hot, Oh, to say the least, it got hot. So yeah, I can't. This is gone now. This is gone. I can't play that up here now. What else we got? ATVI. See, this is not new growth, but I get why you're looking at it. I'm not excited about it. Does that make sense? I want new, I want path, I want the names you guys are mentioning over there, new. Yeah, ATV, exactly. ATVI is a good name. You tuck away investments, you look for entries off this. But yeah, just make sure you have a little time there because these things have been out of favor. I don't know the exact reasons. Not because of China, right? That was a nothing burger. They said they've all been shitty and choppy, except for EA. EA's looking the best out of all of them. Slow down. Hold on. Let me go back here. Skills looks interesting. Down there. I don't know much about the company itself or anything. I know what they do. Well, it looks interesting down here. Definitely looks interesting down here. Same thing. I would look, try not to chase it. Just try to get dips on it if you can. Try to get dips. Especially if you see sweeper activity into the dips, because that's showing us that they're supporting the name. You know what I'm saying? That's the change we want to see. So if you see this thing down and there's sweeper activity, that's where you want to play it. But this is a nice area too. This is a nice area. Yeah, that exactly. The MasterCard, you know what I'm saying? These are old growth names now. And not to say you can't make money in these things, because that would be foolish. I'm not excited about them right now. I'm not excited about them right now. They're kind of in no man's land. At least some of the underbelly growth already got blown up. Like this MasterCard Visa, they're in no man's land. So I don't have an opinion, bullish or bearish. I'm being honest. Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do, Frank. Quick trade out of them. Hold on. Let me scroll up here. What else we got here? Yeah, these underbelly biotech names. You got to be careful, obviously. But I like the group. I like the group. To be honest, we're probably better off, looking to buy one of these things on dips. But the names you can get lucky with. So, So kind of what I'm thinking is kind of like worst case, these things should hang, and if we're buying dips, if they're going to hang, that means those dips are going to get bought and they'll be supported, Gold caught a beating today, right? What was that? Because the dollar? Gold did catch a beating. Ping. That's a new name. Yeah, she started to move a little bit too here. But exactly, Mel. Exactly. This is the type of name, you know? And see, this is what I mean by hang. See how they just hang here? You know? They bottom, rallies get sold, every single one of them. People get frustrated, bored to death, and then quietly, you know, they sneak out. And you have better odds, especially a sweeper activity, that they sneak out, you know, later in this base. And that's where we are now. Squeeze. What do you mean by always play out? Not always. A lot of times I'm sitting in a stock, hope, you know, betting on a squeeze, and the squeeze never comes. Yeah, you need a little luck. You need a little luck. Sometimes those squeeze rallies, they just don't get to the name. Oh, speaking of GDRX, this guy caught a little bit of action again today. Not that good looking though. I would love to see a good looking bet here. Is this thing done? This AMWL? Is this really kaput? People were excited about this name. They still have a big GDRX, right? That's a similar name, isn't it? Yeah. But this thing caused some December activity today, but nothing special. Nothing special. Yeah, with time. I mean, I think it's worth a shot, Stephen. You know, Love, this got some action today off an upgrade this morning. There was a nice upgrade on the stock. I think this is Steven stock too, Love, right? He loves love. Yeah, it looks interesting. You know, it looks interesting. Is this a reopening play though? It looks like a reopening play. You know, has a chart of reopening. Online selling. Later tree. Yeah, you had this big move. And you know, you just got a normal breather here. What about talk about ES, SPX? What do you mean? Volume trigger. Volume trigger. I think that's where volume trigger. I think that's where things get set off the flip, if I'm not mistaken. Parv, but I'm gonna have to double check that. Yeah, I think the zero gamma mark and the vol trigger are two different numbers, not the same thing. The zero gamma mark. The vol trigger is where I think it sets off volatility, but that could be a personal number of his. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think that is that spot gamma. That might be from spot gamma, the vol trigger. The number the one we pay attention to is the zero. You know, when we get to negative gamma. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, as far as settle volatility. You know, it's been a better buy signal than volatility signal. I'll tell you that much from my experience. But then again, we're in a rigged market, so yeah, on the gamma end and flows and positioning, you know, as far as that whole category, I think if you haven't read McElliott, I think you just read McElliott and you'll have an idea exactly of what everybody's looking at on that end. And probably will get front run. I'd be shocked if it plays out according to the dates. You know, so this is McElliott. And these are a few of the important dates you have. You got the 15th of this month. All right. That's VIX expiration, if I'm not mistaken. Then you got the 17th. So that's well, what's the date today? Let's these dates sneak up on us, right? What's today? Today's the what? 7th. So we got this is a week. A week. Right? And I think this too is something that is just the blackout here for financials, the buyback. But honestly, we're probably seeing it now, guys. We're probably seeing it front row now, as crazy as that sounds. Because there's so many eyeballs on it. There are a lot of people. NPD, yes. For some downside, but how much downside? You know what I mean? We got some downside today. That's the problem. We'll see. There was a spike in the index, and the SPX put the call today. We'll see off that net put delta number if it was put selling or people putting on protection. I tell you, you got a lot of things that go on this month outside of seasonality that should create havoc. And what I mean by havoc, chop, messiness, a little volatility, So another reason why I don't think we want to get too wrapped up in the indices, unlike we've been doing, I think we want to look towards names and try to generate a little bit of alpha out of individual names. And I think we could do it. Like, here's an example today, right? Like the indices were, I didn't even know what they finished. Hold on. So look what went on today. I thought the Russell was up at one point, wasn't it? So you got the Russell, ES, and the Dow sold off, and the NASDAQ a little bit of green. But individual names, you had some movement out there today, right? There was definitely a decent amount of green. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Doku. Let's see Doku. I haven't looked at that in a while, Doku, since it exploded. Doku down 19 today. But that's a can of corn for that stock. That's a can of corn. Look at this. Probably be up 19 or 20 tomorrow, the next day. What a move, though, right? From here to this was some move. Happened quick too. That's the risk up here. Up here, that's the risk that there's going to be some swinging around. QS, yeah, all these EV names, they've been buying. I don't want to fall in love with any EV names. That's for shit sure. There's so many of them. I played a couple of them. I played like Mile. And I think, what was the other one I played? I forgot what the other one. But I can't keep up with them. Yeah, I am not buying these stocks. You know what I mean? As far as I like them and swinging. I'm looking for squeezing and I get the hell out. Look at this Mile. I'm not betting that this thing, is it insurance? No, it's not. Miles Insurance? I don't even know. Is it? I know. Who cares? Exactly. Who cares? HYLN, I think that's another EV stock that saw some action. That could squeeze here. It squeezed today. See, here's the perfect. This is what I'm talking about. Okay. So if you like the action in this name, okay, that's the perfect spot right here. Right here. You understand? And you should see the squeeze. I hate to use the word immediately, but sooner rather than later. Okay? You don't buy it here, play for the squeeze, and hold it for 2 months and write it down the new lows as it goes bankrupt. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is the spot, and it should come to life almost immediately, like it did today. Right? And then it's just a matter of, how much you want to see and how much the market's going to give you. But the market doesn't care how much you want. So you got to protect yourself and make sure if you don't get what you want, you pull the plug. But the risk reward, when these things are catching sweeper activity like they are now, it's tough to beat in this environment that we're in right now. You can't beat it. Yeah. But that's the beauty of these setups, is that it's set up to go now. You understand? It's not like we're buying with time and we want to add to weakness and ignore the short-term selling because it means nothing. It's the opposite. Squeeze sweepers are coming in now, and this thing should show some momentum now. If you look, all these things, that's what they've been doing, all of them, from the SPRT to the bit emoji and all that crap. I don't know the names of these things. Ava, let's see, Ava. Bit fart. Yeah, I mean, this thing had a little bit of a lift already here, so you kind of want it to settle in a little bit here. Because it could just drift lower. Did this thing catch sweeper activity? Later, Parv. My pleasure. This thing catch action? It doesn't ring a bell, this Ava. Yeah, the Bitcoin stock should move with Bitcoin. Bitcoin took a hickey today, right? Matt, I did that. Remember? You called it. I gave you my crypto play of the year. Remember? You said you're going to crash the Bitcoin market again. Oh, that's funny. But it was due for a shakeout. No, this thing had some run. Death. So yeah, we don't want to fall in love with these garbage plays, these spec plays. We want to look for real names, but it's okay to trade them. It's okay to trade them. Yeah, crypto. This rally snuck up on people. Crypto snuck up on a lot of people. So then you had people chasing to get in. Yeah, complacency, and I don't want to get attacked by tweeps because they're in love with this shit. I see it, but this picture crap going on right now. I mean, Jesus Christ Almighty. It's out of control, right? My God, is that what it's all based around? That, right? Oh, it's going to be so ugly at the end. Yeah, they tell us we don't understand. Well, they're gonna understand what the final chapter is. Yeah, they just want to hold. That's the problem. That's the problem too. That's the problem. Like nobody can tell them anything because they've been making money in these things. But when you end the conversation with, you don't know what you're talking about, I'm just going to hold forever, you obviously don't know the game. You understand? Holding forever, there's never good that comes out of it. The internet was the biggest thing since sliced bread. And that thing popped and went to pieces. Every single name in it. Yeah, and a lot of things don't come back. A lot of things don't come back. I think that's what they got wrong, and you can't talk to them. They're so stubborn. They're stubborn people. They call you a boomer. They call you this. They call you that. It's not playing them and buying them because they got the coconuts to go in and buy these things. That's not an easy thing to do. It's not locking up some profits when you have them and thinking that, that I told you guys the story. That's what happened with the internet craze. There was a bunch of corrections all the way leading up to it, 50% haircuts, and people got shaken out. And then eventually into that top in 2000, they didn't want to be shaken out again. They huddled those net stocks and they huddled all the way down to zero. Yeah, I don't want to think of how this all looks at the end. Don't neg me out. I don't want to think of it. I don't want to think about that. We know it's good. It's not even a question, Matt. It's going to be a menagerie when this thing comes to an end. A menagerie. But, it can go on. It could go on for a week, could go on for years. And that's the thing. It's not regulated, and it will be. It's going to blow up, and then you'll see how quickly they regulate it. Yeah, exactly. And Matt, that's the thing. It's not when people say it's a bubble, it's going to blow up. It's not to say Bitcoin's going to disappear. There's going to be stuff that disappears, but there's going to be stuff that hangs around forever. But they're all going to get destroyed. You know what I mean? When the bear market comes, along with stocks and everything else. That's the part they don't understand. Sol, is that a coin or a stock? I know the solar company Sol. It's a coin. Oh, let me see. I get a kick out of these. Oh, this here? Let's see. What is this? I never heard of this. This is a new one? What is it? I don't understand what these coins, like, what are they? What do they do? $2. Like the dog coin? The next Ethereum. Like I told you guys, I actually took the time to hear what this what's it called again? It's my coin pick of the decade, and I forgot the name of it. Cardano. I gotta forget it. A good Italian name. So I kind of heard somebody explain, what it is. I couldn't explain it to you guys, but made a little bit of sense. But some of these other coins, I don't even know what the hell they are. Like, it's nuts how many of them too. It's nuts. Like this dog coin, right, is nothing. Am I right? Or correct me if I'm wrong. This is nothing, right? It's just pure fugazi. Right. It's fun. So this is going to zero. Probably not going to make it easy, right? Because people are shorting it. And you could short these things, or you got to do it illegally. You could short them legally, both. Right, Elon Musk's right off. You're right. Yeah, I can't, I don't have the brain capacity right now to even try to understand these coins. You know what? When they blow up, after they blow up, then maybe we'll sit down and I'll take the time and you guys walk me through some of these things. But in the heat of a frenzy like this, I can't. You know, by the time I figure them out, they'll all blow up. And then what was the point of it? The ones that are hanging around, maybe I'll take the time to try to understand them a bit, see what the hell they're all about. All right, but meanwhile, stocks. Hopefully, we find Zockcoin. Give me a break with this stuff. This is what it almost gets childish. Like I can't. It bothers me. I'm not gonna lie to you. It bothers me. It scares me, and it bothers me at the same time. You know, it's like a little. It became a kid's game. You know, it became a kid's game. Later, Arnie. That's what it right. It became a kid's game. They're selling pitches, making all sorts of money, $1 million pitches. I don't know what I forget it. I can't even be bothered. So yeah, I'm hoping we get a little spurt of new growth names that come out of this. Even if September's rocky, I'm hoping we get a window into the end of the year. You know, but as far as the other side of like cyclical stuff, I think it's pick and choose, guys. I think it's pick and choose. But you guys rather that, no? Instead of the rotation? You know what I mean? Like stock picking, stock selection. Right? We looked at this how do I, let me see, hold on. Is this the new one? Yeah. All right. So you see how it broke up? It didn't all happen together. You know, when it started, when this tech rally started, right? We went over this Sunday, but those of you who aren't members, when the rotation started, reopening cyclical back into tech, you had tech and growth down here, and you had all the reopening cyclical sectors up here. All in, everybody fully invested. Okay. So all you needed was the match to set off that rotation back into tech and growth. And you had a set up for a really aggressive move. Now, this is where it stands now. Little by little, it's been getting here. You know, so we've been talking like materials. Okay. This was the top sector all in, fully positioned. And, you know, they've been stubborn. So now they're still long, but middle of the road, right? Tech, you know, where it should be, tech should be up here. No doubt about it. It's not. It's here. You know, so you see how stubborn bulls we've been referring to them as. You know, they're clinging to that reopening trade. Energy, you know, finally got down here. You remember how long hedge funds were. Financials, they finally got down here. And this probably says it best. Look, value growth. You see? So that's why, like, when people ask, is the rotation done? Is it time to buy cyclicals, reopening? Based off positioning, there really is no edge. And what we've been seeing them do, they've been picking certain spots. You know, they've been picking certain spots. So the only thing I see now crowded is quality. That's not on here, but the quality trade, right? Look how much better I write now. Look. Oh my God. Look at this. I'm professional. Quality trade, right? And then maybe less coffee, right? Small, I would call it small cap spec. Small spec, right? So the more speculative stuff that's called beatings is down here. So, kind of like a reversion to the mean out of this at the least, or even a piece, small rotation back the other way. They overdid it now. Everybody's in this, and nobody wants anything to do with this. That's basically where it's gotten to here. I almost knocked over my 5th coffee the other day. I took a bath in a coffee earlier. Oh my God, full cup all over me. 5th, I spilled coffees. You give me a coffee, you better watch out. I can do a lot of damage with 1 cup of coffee. Just 1 cup, I could do a lot of damage. I flip it over, it hits this, it gets on the wall, it gets on the ceiling, it gets on the floor. People who know me, when they see I have a coffee in my hand, they run for cover. Matt, they run for cover. I could do a lot of damage, always do. What? Yeah, I need it. I need it. So that's why, like, there's a few ways that we can look at playing this, right? So, like the QQJ, right? This is something we've been talking about. This is the junior Qs. Maybe this thing is ready. See, even the stuff we like, they're niners. You know what I mean? Like, even the stuff we like are due for a little bit of a pause. That's the problem. But anyway, it doesn't hurt to look and be aware, right? So it's pulling already. You get a little breather here, QQJ, right? This is the more speculative version of the Qs. Biotech, instead of IBB, all the money went to IBB. Some money should start pouring into XBI, right? And Labu. Yes, the China stocks are probably the most speculative thing on the board. And they started pouring in money there. So we're seeing it across the board. K-Web, yep. Like this Labu, you guys know this Labu. Like if you get a little lucky and catch this thing right, whoo, this can pick them up and put them down when it gets hot. Yep. Look at this. But this was February. You can't even look at this. But this thing can move nice when it gets going. So keep an eye on this thing into weakness, right? Because look at it. You see the difference, guys. The disparity between the two. All right. Now, granted, this is a triple ETF, leveraged ETF, but like look at IBB, right? And then look at like an XBI. They look like 2 different sectors. So it's kind of almost like a reversion to the mean, what we're looking for. And the reversion to the mean can mean big moves, right? The stocks, like already, like, yeah, this is a Kathy name. I like this name too. NVTA. See, another niner. There's niners all over the place. No matter what sector, what group, there are niners all over the yard. NVTA, yeah. This thing's been out of favor for a while. Got hot. I mean, this thing was nuts. But, it's kind of like, right, put it in the bottom here. So that's why, like, if we get some weakness in these things, that's where we want to be, looking to be buyers. You guys remember when we were looking at the Bills of the world, all the crowd, all the high growth quality names, right? They didn't all just rip initially. They were higher lows, but they were being bought, and that's kind of what we're looking to see here, hopefully. That's kind of what we're looking to see here. And that would be ideal, because everybody who's looking to jump on this trade, they get shaken out a couple days of weakness. They're like, oh, here we go again. In the fintech ETF, that thing has been awful. And you remember how hot this stock was? Right? There were people just buy every dip. Just buy every dip. But it wouldn't surprise me one bit this stock is at new highs again at some point. Even this thing's holding lows. And they had bad earnings and everything. Yeah. Well, and the other thing, Cash, I mean, look at this move, Cash. Look at this move. You've been around this game. After a move like that, you go into some serious consolidation. Yeah. Serious consolidation. Like you look on the other side, right? Like look at Nucor, okay? It's been an animal Nucor, right? People forget. They probably didn't even trade when Nucor went into consolidation. Oh, these charts, man. Like look at this. Yeah. These steel stocks were the best stocks on the board once upon a time. Look at this. And then exploded out. Potash. Remember the ag names, Cash? How hot they used to be? Oh, they used to print money, those things. So that's the problem when they have big moves like that. They take a while. NTR. Yeah. I know this NTR. Wow. And how about Mosaic? Has that been trading better? That used to be a monster. Mosaic and Potash. Oh yeah. Still looks okay though, right? Still looks good. Right? How many times have we spoken about like FCX? Cash, you remember how many times getting frustrated in this FCX trying to catch a big winner in this thing? If you didn't sell every rip, you were talking to yourself in this FCX back in the day. Oh my God. Look at this. This was a nightmare. Fundamentally, right, Cal? FCX looks good. It looks good. The only thing, Cal, you had a big move here that we spoke about this. Remember, you don't mind this because you're in it longer term, right? You're in consolidation here for a bit. You know what I mean? But the likelihood, the odds are this thing is going to resolve to the upside when it does. Should. Valet. Yeah, that's another one. Why? That's not consolidating? Ah, looks the same, Cal. Yeah, that's the problem with them right now, Cal. I think they just, it's easier said than done to sit through this, but if you like them longer term, you got to try to sit tight and stay disciplined and sit through them. You know, if they're like investments longer term. But same thing. Oh yeah, you got a dividend too here, right? Same thing. You had a big move. This is totally normal. And it shook out enough players. Yeah, but I just think cycle wise, I think these things you're gonna do okay with them longer term. It's just sitting through the consolidation here. That's the problem. They've been out of favor for so long. So, but they look good. Alcoa, you own any Alcoa, Cal? Yeah, the options you got to go way out. Rio or BHP. Yeah, aluminum's been hot. Alcoa's been hot. Let me see BHP. I haven't looked at that in a while. Oh, that's a nice pull. Rio too, but they still look good. They still look good. Like honestly, if you were looking for a pull like this for an entry, so you got to start looking at them. I think, Cal. You know, even if you're a little bit early, but they both look the same to me. You know, if you were eyeing these things on a pullback, oh yeah, that's off earnings, right? Yep, there was an April sweep there today in this ADSK. 20, yeah, next year. When's investor day this week? I think so, right? This is a stud name too. Yeah, it was a nice sweep. This is a stud name you don't really hear mentioned too much. ADSK. Yeah, you got a pullback here. And, the pullback, it gave up what it ran up into earnings, basically. You know? RH. That's a beast. Wow. Wow. This thing just. I remember when this thing they were selling aggressively before COVID, somewhere back here. Wow. That is a stud. BLDP. That's a battery play, correct, Ed? Yeah. Looks like it's trying to form a bottom here. I don't know how much upside. But I just these alternative energy plays, and there's so many of them. You know what I mean? That like there's so many of them. They were all great too when they were hot, but now it's like this BE was another one. Vaccine play. Well, we've been seeing action in all of them. This NVAX, we always see some quality action in. This one's probably been the best flow of the bunch. Krishna, NVAX, you know NVAX, right? It's wait. Oh, you're saying Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci's not involved in NVAX, right? Moderna, yeah. Moderna, is a monster. Monster. But flow-wise, quality, relative to the type of action it catches, this NVAX had some really good looking sweeper activity with some time. I think December's they were hitting. What's going on? I got such a lag on here. It's so annoying. It's been moving here too, NVAX. Looks good. BNTX. There was a little flow in it recently too. Is BNTX. That's the one that works with Pfizer, right? Wow. Wow. These stocks. Were you guys around when Moderna was catching sweeper activity right at the start of COVID with that NVAX? You know where you'd be right now holding on to some from there? Oh my God. And it's like there wasn't a question of who the winners were going to be, right? You knew, like, right, if you wanted to buy a little basket, mRNA, NVAX, maybe you added Regeneron, right? It wasn't a question of which names, like there were a ton of them. Unbelievable. That's what it was. It was too obvious, I know. $50. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Yep. What are you going to do? Bill Gates? I think so. I think Moderna has the whole crew. Fauci, I think even what's his name is on the board. The guy on CNBC. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Moderna, there were sweeps every day. 5, 6 bombs every day. Big ones. Big ones. Gottlieb. Is he on Moderna? He might be. I think he's on Pfizer and Moderna. Yeah, Gottlieb was Trump's FDA guy for a little bit last year. Yeah, like Matt was saying, I thought it was a little too obvious for a move like this. I didn't think, you know what I mean? No, I remember Moderna was the one that was going to make money off the vaccine. I remember hearing that when it was sweeping it. Exactly, Matt. I didn't think it was going to be this easy. I'll tell you that much. My God. What are you going to do? But listen, I think, again, we're not going to find Moderna, but I think that's what we want to at least start looking for. You understand? We want to start looking for names that, you may not be totally familiar with right now. You heard of them. They came public 6 months ago. You know the company. Dan, you know what I'm talking about, like a name, like you knew the you. You know what I mean? Like names you're familiar with, you have an idea about, but now they're starting to get the street. Exactly. They're starting to get the street's attention. That's what the sweeper activity will tell us. Exactly. Potential new leaders. And, I'm not saying they're going to come and they're going to, we're going to find 50 new names by next week, but we want to start looking for that as the summer's over now and we're going into September. And if there's a little volatility and weakness, even better. But that's the setup we kind of want to pay attention to into year end, into like the holidays and all, right? The sexy growth names, not the crap, right? UPST, that's another one, right? Like these type of names. These type of names. And, this is why. You get a little lucky, or you even leave a runner on a trade, you hit nice. It could add up. AVNW. I never heard of that one. Wow. See, this is a stock I never heard of. This is a stock I never heard of. That's what I like. I like when I see some sweeper activity and it's kind of under the radar. Not everybody's talking about it. You understand? Like that was the allure with like a bill. Like the stock is trading over $100, but nobody really knows who they are yet. And then once there's sweeper activity there, that's telling you the street is starting to recognize it. CELH, what's funny? That caught action today, right? I was looking at this thing today. It caught a sweep today, CELH. Is that what they do? Energy drink? Wow, 6 billion? Strong name. $3, Cal? God. Unbelievable. But yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Number one stock on IBD. This is exactly what I'm talking about. These type of names. Wow. Unbelievable, Cal. Good for him. Unbelievable. All right, guys. And listen, a patient approach, right? Just in case if September is a little bumpy, relax, nice and easy. Because this, like I said, this is something that likely will set up into year's end and is not something that's just going to quickly materialize over a week anyway. So we just got to keep our eyes open. That's all. What's the difference between what? These companies and the coin, crypto? I don't, you can't talk to me about Bitcoin because I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. You got the wrong guy here. I wish I could lie and fake it, but you got the wrong guy when it comes to crypto. Yep. Thanks for coming by, guys. All right. Enjoy the rest of the week. Good luck the rest of the week. I'll see the majority of you mañana.